morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Motivation. I pray you're doing well. I pray that you all are having a blessed week. Today, I just wanted to jump right into it. I wanted to talk to you about focus and being distracted. So many times in our life is that we lack some focus. We might be a little scattered. We have so many ideas going on. We want to multitask. We want to do so many things, but our time is very limited. And so it's important that we stay focused and that we avoid certain distractions. I'll give you an example. So, yesterday I was on a coaching call, and one of the things, the major topic that we talked about was that I have a lot of things that I'm doing. I have a lot of things that are happening in our ministry, in our church, that are also happening in our business. And so, what I did is I had to illustrate it the best way. Uh, as a visual because I wanted to make sure everything was clear and exactly what I was asking for help with. And so what I did is I made a chart, kind of an organizational chart, and on it it had a layout of all the things that we do. It had what we do as a church, what we do as a ministry, what we do as a business, and there were so many things. And what I'm trying to do is condense things down and to be focused and have one branding instead of sending people all over the place. And so on there, you would see things like photography, videography, coaching. Um, you'd have our life group, our morning messages, all these different things that we are trying to do. We're trying to help entrepreneurs. We're trying to help military members. We're trying to help Christians. And there were so many outlets that we had, and I needed to kind of focus it, get a handle on it, because when someone says, "Hey, Lee, what do you do? What's your business do?" I'm like, we are Christian based, and we do some of this, some of this, some of this, some of this," and I wanted to stop doing that. So I needed to get more focused. And one of the things that came out of the conversation was this: is that there are some things that I absolutely need to push off my plate. Absolutely, some things on this chart that need to not be there anymore. So what I did is I took a big highlighter in the program I was using, and I put a big X over those things, because those are things that I no longer want to do. And one of the things that was brought up was the fact that when I do some things outside of what I should really be doing, what I'm doing is I am taking my attention off of what I should be doing. And I'm putting some focus and some energy into something else. And this is kind of, people might say, a side gig or a side hustle or something like that, a hobby. But what you're doing is you're not able to give you're not able to give that 100% of your attention. And two, if I'm doing that particular thing, say for example, we'll look at photography. If I'm out here trying to take pictures of everybody, well, a couple things. One, God is telling me that season is over. I shouldn't really be doing that anymore. But He's called me to different things. But one thing is this: is one, I'm over here, I'm not focused, I'm not giving it 100%. But then also, what is going on is the fact that there's somebody over here that is a photographer. That is what they do. And so by me moving over into that lane, I'm basically cutting into their business, which in this particular case, I shouldn't be, because I know that God has told me to really stay out of those lanes. So what I had to learn yesterday was that it's okay to give referrals. I know plenty of photographers, I know plenty of videographers, I know plenty of people that can do these things that I can do, but that's where their lane is. That's what they're called to do. The other day, for example, I was in a situation where I was called in for a consultation for a video audio streaming project. And I went over to the church and I looked at the situation, and the project was kind of big, and it would have taken me a lot of time to do the research to find the fix. But instead, I was able to easily recognize, I know someone who could do this in about 10 minutes. And so it was so easy for me to have that referral that I could just, call this individual up, say, "Hey, here's the situation. Do you mind if this company calls you?" And I could connect them, and that's okay to do. So what I want to encourage you to do is this: if you're doing things that are outside of your lane or outside of what God is telling you to do, it is okay to refer it to someone else. God placed these other people in your life for a reason. Use them as a referral, because that may be their main focus. And then you can be blessing them. You can be helping their business grow by simply giving a referral. So that's what I want to main thing is that if you got so many things going on, we need to learn how to focus, because if you're all scattered, then by the time you get to what you're supposed to be doing, so much of your time, so much of your energy has been used in different areas that you have little to no energy left. And here's something else that was learned yesterday is that people are going to, when folks need someone to do something for them, they're going to find someone to do. If they know you and they know that, hey, you can do all these things, you can do this, they're going to go to you. That's great. However, if you're not available for that thing, if you can't do a referral, they will find somebody else. If their situation is important enough to them, they will find someone else. So don't feel like you're leaving them high and dry. Okay. First the referrals, and then also you know that they can find someone else. So that's about focus. Now let's talk about this. I wanted to go into distractions, because along with focus are distractions. And as I was putting up this chart in my own business, I saw all these different distractions. So that led me to this article that I read. And I wanted to talk about this because it talks about tips for fighting distractions in prayer. And we think about distractions, there are so many things. I know for myself that the enemy will distract me so that it keeps me away from what God is calling me to do. And perfect example, last night I was in church. I was at a revival, and my pastor asked me to come in and film the revival. And so I said yes. I committed to this. So I'm at this thing. I just got done a coaching call saying that I'm not doing videography no more. I'm not doing anything. And lo and behold, I'm there, and the guest speaker comes in. But guest speaker comes up to me and was like, "Hey man, I like your equipment." We start talking equipment. And he's like, "Hey man, our church really could use some help in this particular area. You could come on over and give us some help. That would be great. Do you have a business card?" And my first reaction, I'm like, "Yeah, cool, definitely." And then after the fact, I'm like, "Man, I just talked about how we're going to be pushing some things off of our plate." But I think that, no, I don't. I know that I need to be disciplined and not get distracted. So let's talk about some distractions, because here's what's happening. The enemy will distract you from what God is calling you to do, and they'll make it look appealing. You're like, "Oh, okay, cool. That's an opportunity." But no, it's calling you away from what God has for you. So here's some things. Tips for fighting distraction. This is for prayer, but these can also be used in so many other aspects in your life. First and foremost is that when you are praying or in any situation, we need to remember to put God first. Put God first in all things. So in our prayers, we might get distracted. What's going to happen in our prayer? We've all gone through it before, as different thoughts come into our mind, different ideas. But remember, we're focusing on God, on our conversation with God. That's the first thing. Second thing is this: is that you are diagnose why you may be distracted. So here's some things. When you go into your prayer situation, do you always go in with so many things on your mind? um or is it the environment that you're in? Are you going into a noisy environment or something like that? Or is it just not the optimal time for prayer? And we're talking about here, of course, prayer can be anytime. Prayer can be when we're driving, whatever situation. But here we're talking about more of a prayer where, hey, I'm going in my prayer closet and we're going to have some serious conversation going on. So diagnose why you may be distracted and see how you can eliminate those distractions. If it's a noisy area, then turn down the TV, turn the TV off, or things like that. Next thing is this: that you optimize technology for your prayer. Now, what this means is this: is don't take your phone into your prayer closet with you, because when you're in essence doing that, you're taking the world with you. You're taking all these distractions with you, because I know for me, sometimes when I go into a designated prayer time, I'm thinking to myself, how mad, and this is so amazing how the enemy gets you. I'm thinking to myself, how mad I would be if my phone rings right now and interrupts my prayer life. Well, I could have eliminated that altogether by leaving my phone out of the room, or turning my phone off, or anything like that. Or even I'll be like, you know what if I get distracted? What if my wife comes in, or what if the phone rings, or if the doorbell? I'm going to be mad. And I start thinking about these things, and it distracts me. So, ways to deal with that is, when you go into your prayer closet, let your family know, hey, I'm going to be in prayer for a little while, so I would like some privacy, and you can avoid that. So main thing, leave your technology out. Find an off ramp for your distractions. Okay, when you're in prayer, your mind is going to start to wander. You got a lot of things you're thinking about. What I suggest is take a piece of paper in your prayer closet with you, and write these things down. Something pops into your head, write it down. That way, once you write it down on paper, you can push it to the side, and then you can think about it later. Because if it pops into your mind, what's going to stay there in your mind is that I got to deal with this as soon as I'm done my prayer time. But write it down, push it to the side. All right. When you get distracted, you need to re-engage. So you're distracted, your mind starts wandering. Okay, take a couple deep breaths if you need to do some jumping jacks or something like that, but then get refocused. Okay, God, we're talking, we're having this discussion. It's about you. So you have to re-engage. Next thing is this. Find practical tools to help you focus. What this could be is, it could be some music in the background, some soft non-vocal tracks, just some soothing music. I know that is going to helps me stay focused. Also, write down in your prayer, pray the scripture, have your scriptures lined up before you go into prayer. That way you know exactly which direction you're going. I'm going to pray this scripture, then I'm going to pray this scripture. Okay, you can even write down your prayers. That's going to help keep you focused. Then also go for a walk. That is going to help you to focus. Also, next thing is this, is have an alarm clock that is going to go off, because sometimes we may think that, this may, or how can I put this? When you have a designated set aside time period, like you have an hour blocked off, then hey, I got an hour, and you know that you're not going to run over because you have your alarm clock, because this can be something that going to throw off your focus. You'll be like, man, I've been in prayer for a long time, and next thing you know, you come out, it's like 3 hours later, and you think to yourself, wow, I just missed my next appointment, or something like that. So have an alarm clock outside of the area that you can hear, that is going to let you know when your prayer time is up. Let's see. And here's what I finally want you to understand is that God is honored by our fight. Just the fact that we are setting time aside to speak with God, God is honoring that. God is excited about that time. So what I want to encourage you to do is that you're always in the fight. You're always engaged. You're always, if something is going on, if you're being distracted in your prayer life, if you're being distracted from things that God is calling you to do, or you're not as focused as you should be, then always strive to be better. Strive to be better, and God is going to honor that. Make an effort to get those distractions out of the way. Make an effort to be more focused, and God is going to honor your commitment to that. He's going to honor your discipline. He's going to honor that you are trying. So once again, thank you all so much for joining us today. We talked about focus, talked about distractions, how to avoid distractions, especially in our prayer life, and how to be more focused on what God is calling us to do. Sometimes we have to say no to things. We have to push things off our plate, push things off to the side. Don't even let things guard your plate. Protect your time so that things can't even get on your plate. So once again, thank you all for watching. I pray that you all are doing well, that your families are blessed. Until Monday morning, when we are back here again, God willing, at 8 a.m., take care. Talk to you soon, and God bless.